This is Into the Fire.
I'd like to welcome back to Into the Fire one of my favourite players, the guy I said would be the star and a steal of 2019 draft, the exceptional midfielder and a true legend of a guy, Caleb Serong from the Fremantle Dockers. Nice to see you again, Caleb.
Thanks, Aljo. Thanks for having me, mate. It's good to be on again.
My absolute pleasure. Now, first things first, how is Fremantle? And is my dad right that Cottesloe Beach is the greatest beach in Australia? He actually loves the pub there, but beach is close enough.
Yes, yeah, Freo's been great. I'd actually never been before I got drafted, and I've been told about how relaxing it was and how good the beaches were over here. And Cottesloe is definitely number one. It's always very busy, but yeah, your old man's right in saying it's a great beach. And but yeah, Freo, the place and the club's been fantastic. It's welcomed me in really well, and yeah, couldn't speak highly enough of, like I said, the place and the club. Really enjoying my time here so far and looking forward to next year.
Yeah, awesome. Well, what a year, hey? You moved away from home, you played your first game, 14 in total, were in a COVID hub, kicked 2 goals even though both lacked a celebration, and won the NAB Rising Star. It's been a big year. Do you still think to yourself, wow, I can't believe I'm an AFL player?
I do. It's especially now the draft's coming around. It felt like just yesterday I got drafted, and seeing all those guys, especially some of my mates that I know, looking to get drafted. It's a bit weird thinking that was like 12 months ago now. So, but no, you're right. It's like, for me, it was always a dream to play AFL footy, and to have a few of those things happen this year, like to debut and just get drafted in the first place, and then play a few games in a row. It was really kind of surreal. It was just like a bit of a whirlwind experience, and as we were saying off air, like the hubs and everything like that, it was a very different experience than what I expected my first AFL season to be like. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I absolutely loved it, and yeah, really loving the AFL system and Fremantle Dockers.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting. Now, you went to the Fremantle Dockers with pick 8, one of the biggest steals of the draft. I don't want to brag, but I did say I would have you drafted really early. Did you know Freo were that interested in you prior to the draft?
I didn't until probably a day before the draft. Me and Hayden Young both kind of got told by our managers like the day before that we're a fair chance to go to Freo as long as everything before us kind of fell into place. And I spoke to Dave Walls, who's the list manager at Fremantle. I spoke to him the night before the draft, and he kind of asked me a few questions about how I'd manage coming over to the Dockers and stuff like that. And I was just really excited to get drafted. And I think for me, like, the interstate factor wasn't a really big deal, because like I just thought back to when I was 8, 9 years old, when I was just wanted to get drafted, and it didn't matter where I went. And if you had told me then I was going to get drafted at pick 8 to Fremantle, would have been absolutely wrapped. So yeah, it has been a bit of a challenge moving away from home, especially this year. I haven't seen my family in about 8 months, which has been a bit difficult. But like I said before, the club's been fantastic. They've welcomed me in, and the young guys at the club have been awesome. We've got a really good relationship going with plenty of the guys now, and we all get along really well, which has made this year a lot easier.
Yeah, they're a good club. So, talk through the moment they called your name. What was that feeling, knowing that you had achieved your boyhood dream, but also knowing you had moved interstate?
Yeah, it was interesting, because I turned to my girlfriend. I could see she was a little bit upset, and I was like, but she was really happy. Like, she'd always been really supportive of me, and she knew that would just, whatever happened was it was my dream coming true. So she was really happy for me, but I could see deep down she was a little bit upset. But she's actually moved over now, so she absolutely loves Perth. So that's just a little side note. But that night was fantastic. It was a massive. It's a really nervous time for me, I guess. Like, throughout the whole day, I was the worst person to be around. I was cranky. I was really nervous. Like, I just didn't want to talk to anyone. But as soon as we got to the draft and sat down and kind of chilled out a little bit, and the first couple of picks went away, and everything kind of started falling in place as we thought it was going to, and all the picks started falling in, and we kind of knew by pick 7 and 8 it was probably going to be me and Hayden, and it's pretty cool to go backstage, and I had a good relationship with Hayden before he got drafted, and it's kind of be both wearing that Fremantle polo behind behind the curtains there. It was pretty cool. I think we gave each other a big hug, and then from there it was just a bunch of interviews. Probably about an hour and a half worth of talking to people and getting photos taken, which made for a pretty long night. But the best part of the night, to be honest, was sharing it with my family back at the kind of it was a bit of a function, a Fremantle function with all the other draftees, so Liam and Hayden, and to kind of see my family and my girlfriend there was pretty special, and to share the night with them was awesome.
Yeah, it would have been so amazing. So you made the move to WA. It's such a long way away from Victoria. I bet your parents were a little sad to see you go. What did you take, and who did you live with when you got there?
Yeah, they were. I had been at boarding school for 2 years prior, so we'd kind of lived apart for a couple of years. But then again, it's not a 5-hour plane ride away Geelong to Warragul, so it's a bit closer. But they came over initially, and obviously we didn't expect COVID or anything to happen, so we thought they'd been able to come over a few times and see my first game and stuff like that. So at the time, it wasn't too bad. We were just really excited just for me to get started and get to an AFL club. So they were really supportive and great about that. But when I first came over, I'm a pretty heavy packer, so I love like my clothes and my shoes and stuff like that. So I took plenty of that, plenty of the real stuff, the good stuff, the stuff I need. So, but I wasn't like Hayden. I didn't bring a surfboard over or anything. So I packed more clothes and shoes than surfboards and stuff like that. But we both moved into Fifey's place for the first 3 weeks, which was pretty cool. Meeting him for the first time was it was pretty surreal. He was someone we'd both looked up to for years prior. So to move in with him and live under the same roof and be able to ask questions with him over dinner and see how he went about it was pretty cool. And we learned a lot from him in the first 3 weeks.
Jeez, that would have been awesome. It's always intrigued me as to what the first training session is like. How nervous were you, and which player really took you under their wing?
I was very nervous going in. We stayed in an apartment the night we flew in, and then we went to training session the next day where we took all our bags and everything. We had to take our suitcases in to the change rooms, and it was all a bit of a weird day. But the training session itself was pretty light because as most people know, with the first years coming in, they're treated very I guess cautiously by the strength and conditioning staff. They don't want any injuries and stuff like that. So we were very we were looked after very well, and we were watched very closely. So we couldn't do anything without them telling us. It was very light in terms of the gym session, the running sessions, but we kind of built into it past that first week. But that first session, meeting all the guys was probably the biggest thing, coming into the club and meeting 40 new blokes. So, but to be honest, like from that point and then throughout the whole year, probably two guys that have helped me a lot have been Andy Brayshaw and Adam Chera. They're both really young guys, but we're really good mates now. But at the start, they were the ones that kind of helped me along and really taught me a lot through being a young midfielder. So they were great.
Yeah, they sound like legends. It is such a challenge when you first arrive. Who have you really bonded well with since arriving?
Well, I think those two guys definitely. But we were really lucky. We got a really young list, so we got guys like even guys that haven't played a game yet, like Luke Valenti and stuff like that. That are really professional young players. He's an Adelaide boy as well, and Steph Giro, both Adelaide guys. So they're all really great guys. And Hayden Young, Liam Henry, Michael Frederick. We all get along really well, so it's great to have those guys to kind of bounce things off. And we're coming through the system together, and we kind of play juniors against each other and stuff like that. So it's great to see those guys now doing really well. And I think it was great this year seeing so many young guys debut and play their role the way they did. Like it was fantastic. I think Michael Frederick surprised a lot of people with how quickly he came along and was able to play so well this year at AFL level. So those guys have all been great. And then there's senior guys like Fifey and Dave Mundy and all those kind of guys that have taken us under their wing as well and helped us a lot. So it's a really good culture, and I think we're really building something pretty special over here at the moment.
Yeah. Now, COVID has affected everyone in different ways. How was hub life? And did you find it tough being isolated away from general public life?
Yeah, hub life was interesting. I two kind of ends of it. So the first hub, when everyone else was still at home and stuff like that, we went to Gold Coast first with West Coast, and that was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I think we had 6 weeks there or 5 weeks, and yeah, it was amazing. It was the kind of the first 5 weeks of the restart of the season, and everyone was working really hard, and I learnt so much during that period. Like, all the coaches were there, so we could ask as many questions as we wanted, and everyone really got around each other. It was a really enjoyable experience. And then we came back in quarantine for 2 weeks back here in Perth, and that was pretty tough. I guess we were almost in quarantine anyway in hubs and stuff, but this was proper quarantine back in Perth, so that was a bit tougher. And then we were in Perth for a little bit, which was great. We were able to kind of still go get takeaway coffees and go for walks and stuff, but it was kind of great being home and playing in front of our home crowd, which was fantastic at 50% capacity. So those 25,000 fans sounded like about 50 to 60,000, to be honest. Going from playing in front of no one to 25,000 people was pretty cool. And then going back into the hub at the end of the year, we're up in Cairns, and I think the boys, we were out of the race to finals. So by the time we got to Cairns and we had 3 games left, I think it was a pretty deflating experience. Like, we were just kind of I guess trying to get as much as we could out of the end of the season, and learn as much as we could still, and try and win some games. But it was tough knowing we had to go back in quarantine again when we got back to Perth. But I guess now, hopefully, all is kind of in the clear, and we can kind of go about living a more normal life as the rest of Australia can.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that quarantine sucks.
Yes, it does. It does. Only so many board games and stuff you can play, LJ.
Yeah. Now, you've turned into a superstar, winning the Rising Star Award. What a great achievement. That must have been a huge honour.
It was. It was a massive honour and extremely humbling, I guess. With guys like Noah Anderson and Max King and Isaac Rankin and Will Day, those kind of guys, they all had great years, and played against them at different times of the year, and it was great to play against those young guys, and there's plenty of other young players that debuted and played really well this season. So to kind of be recognised as the best of them was great, and it was a really, like you said, really big honour and really humbling. But I think for me, it was the biggest thing for me this year was how enjoyable it was when we were winning games, and I think that's what we're all striving towards, and being able to win a few more games and hopefully push for finals next year, which is why we all play, just for that team success. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah. I actually think you'll win a Brownlow medal one day. There you go. It's out there. I said Lockie Neal would win a Brownlow when he was at Freo, so get that speech prepared for the future.
All right. Thanks, LJ. I appreciate that.
Get that one ready. Now, I've been so excited to talk to you today. What is being an AFL footballer really like?
It's great. I love it. But it also is tough at times, and it's really high pressurized environment, and there's always eyes on you. So you got to be ready for that. But I absolutely love it because I just love football and love the game and love everything that comes with it. So it's very busy at times, but also you got to know when to kind of settle down, have a bit of a relax and stuff like that, because if you're on the whole time, it becomes pretty draining. So to have that balance is really important, but it's very, very busy lifestyle when you're at the club and everything's going on, but absolutely love it, mate. It's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, quick fire questions. Who did you get a little bit starstruck on day one?
Fifey.
Talking about Fifey, wouldn't mind getting me his number?
Oh, he's so secretive with his number. Don't worry. He's secretive about everything. So I don't think I even have his phone number.
Best thing about being an AFL player?
Tough one. It's just me living out my dream, childhood dream.
Do people know you when you walk around town?
Perth's a very small place, and especially Freo as well. So I live in Freo, and at times you get noticed and stuff, but definitely not as much as when I'm walking with Andy Brayshaw or Nat Fyfe. They get noticed a lot more than me, so it's all right. I can kind of fly under the radar.
Have you had many people ask for selfies or autographs when you're out?
A couple of times, yeah. Especially in Perth, it's pretty small place, but I guess like I said, I can fly under the radar when I'm with guys like Andy Brayshaw and Adam Chera. So I stick behind them and they take all the photos.
Who's the coolest guy in the club?
Fifey.
Yeah.
He won't like to admit it, but he secretly loves his trying to look good and stuff like that. So definitely Fifey.
He's pretty cool. Biggest pest at the club?
Biggest pest. Probably it was Jarvis Pinner, but he's been delisted. So unfortunately, he was one of my good mates. But probably Steph Giro or Luke Valenti.
Yeah, good on.
Two Adelaide boys.
Okay, so you kicked your first goal, and I waited with bated breath. It was there for the taking, and alas, you stood without a celebration. It is understandable. It was a while since you had seen it. But Caleb, you are my man. I rely on you, buddy. So here it is again, the Into the Fire.
All right, I'll see if I can remember this song. Is that it? Perfect. I'll try and remember it for next time. Sometimes when you're out there and it's blood's rushing, it's tough to remember those celebrations, and I get a bit nervous. So I'll see how I go next time.
Now you just need to put that on the field. Awesome.
I know. Have you had any of the guys do it yet?
I reckon we've had one, Rashid Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's a good one to have do it as well.
only one so far, so waiting for the second one.
Plenty more to come, hopefully.
Oh, okay. Well, honestly, I can't thank you enough, Caleb, for chatting to me. You're such a great person, and you're already a star. I can't wait to see you reach the elite of the competition. Your 2020 was only a glimpse of your talent, and that is so exciting. Good luck for the preseason, and I hope you have a huge 2021. Keep in touch, buddy.
Thanks, LJ. Appreciate it, mate. Have a good one. Merry Christmas.
Thanks so much.